It was a cold winter night in the small town of Ravenshire. The wind howled through the empty streets, whispering secrets to the darkness. A lone street lamp flickered outside the Blackwood mansion, an old house with a tragic past. No one dared to go near it, except for one man, Thomas Reed. Thomas was a journalist, young and ambitious. He had heard stories about Blackwood Mansion since he was a child. They said it was cursed. Strange noises, disappearing people, and the most terrifying of all, a murder that was never solved. 50 years ago, Eleanor Blackwood, the last owner of the mansion, was found dead in the Grand Hall. Some said it was suicide, others believed it was murder. But no one ever found the killer. The house was abandoned, left to decay. But Thomas didn't believe in ghosts or curses. He believed in facts, and he was determined to find the truth. On the night of January 10th, Thomas entered the mansion. The wooden door creaked open, revealing a grand hall covered in dust and cobwebs. The air was thick with the scent of old books and damp wood. His flashlight flickered as he stepped inside. He moved carefully, his footsteps echoing in the silence. He took out his notebook and wrote, "Blackwood Mansion, silent, abandoned, but not empty." He made his way to the library, a room full of old, forgotten books. He touched the dusty shelves, wondering if Eleanor Blackwood had once stood in the same spot. Then, suddenly, he saw something, a book lying open on the floor. The title read, "The Tragic History of the Blackwood Family." His heart raced. He picked it up and turned the pages. One passage caught his attention. Eleanor Blackwood was a woman of secrets. She loved deeply but suffered greatly. Betrayed by those closest to her, she met her end on a cold winter night, just like this one. Thomas frowned. The official report said she died alone, but this book suggested otherwise. Who had betrayed her? And why? As he continued reading, a sudden noise made him freeze. A whisper. He turned quickly, shining his flashlight around the room. Nothing. Only shadows. He took a deep breath and decided to check the Grand Hall, the place where Eleanor had died. As he walked down the dark corridor, he felt the air grow colder. The silence was heavier here, almost suffocating. When he reached the hall, he saw something that made his blood turn to ice. There, in the middle of the room, was a single chair, and on that chair sat a dusty old doll, its glass eyes staring straight at him. He swallowed hard. He didn't remember seeing the doll when he entered. Who had put it there? He took a step closer, his hands shaking. As he reached out to touch the doll, a gust of wind blew through the room, knocking over a vase. The crash echoed through the mansion. Thomas turned sharply, his heart pounding. He was not alone. Someone or something was watching him. Thomas's breath came in short gasps. His flashlight flickered, casting strange shadows on the walls. He turned around quickly, but the room was empty. The only sound was the wind rattling the old windows. His instincts told him to run, but his curiosity was stronger. He bent down and picked up the doll. It was old, its fabric worn and faded. Around its neck was a small silver locket. With shaking fingers, he opened it. Inside was a tiny picture of a woman, Eleanor Blackwood. Thomas's mind raced. Why was this doll here? Who had placed it? He had to find out more. He hurried back to the library, flipping through the pages of the tragic history of the Blackwood family. Near the end of the book, he found something chilling. Eleanor Blackwood was betrayed by a man she trusted. He took everything from her, her love, her wealth, her life, but she left behind a witness, silent yet knowing, a truth hidden in darkness, waiting to be seen. The silent witness. Was it the doll? Could it hold the key to the mystery? Suddenly, footsteps echoed from upstairs, slow, deliberate. Someone was in the mansion. Thomas turned off his flashlight and pressed himself against the wall, his heart hammering. The footsteps grew louder, then stopped. "Who's there?" He called out, his voice trembling. No answer. Just silence. Summoning his courage, he climbed the stairs, step by step. At the end of the hallway, a door stood slightly open. A faint light flickered inside. He pushed it open and stepped in. It was a bedroom, untouched by time. Dust covered the furniture, but everything remained in place, as if waiting for Eleanor to return. A vanity mirror stood against the wall, its surface cracked. Thomas approached it cautiously, and then he saw it. A message written in the dust on the mirror, "Find the truth beneath the floor." Thomas's hands grew cold. Someone, something, was leading him to the truth. But was it Eleanor's spirit, or someone else? He looked around and noticed a loose floorboard near the fireplace. Kneeling down, he pried it open. Inside was a small wooden box. He opened it with trembling hands. Inside were old letters, yellowed with age. He picked one and read it. My dearest Eleanor, I cannot let him take everything from you. If you are reading this, know that the truth is hidden in the library. Trust no one. No signature, but the handwriting was elegant, careful. The library. The truth was there. Thomas rushed back downstairs, his mind racing. He searched every shelf, every book, and then he saw it, one book that looked newer than the others. He pulled it out, and a hidden compartment opened behind the shelf. Inside was a stack of documents, bank statements, letters, proof of fraud. Someone had stolen Eleanor's fortune. But then Thomas found the final piece of the puzzle, a confession letter. I did not mean to kill her, but she knew too much. If she spoke, I would lose everything. Forgive me, Eleanor. The signature at the bottom sent chills down Thomas's spine. It was her own brother, Charles Blackwood. Tears burned in his eyes. Eleanor had been betrayed by her own blood, and worse, her murder had been covered up as a suicide. The house groaned as a cold wind rushed through. The doll, still sitting in the grand hall, seemed to smile. Eleanor's story was no longer forgotten. The silent witness had finally spoken, and justice would be served.